Crypto is the hottest debate in Congress right now, and last night we entered another chapter. Democrats have put forth new legislation called the End Crypto Corruption Act for 2025. This is essentially calling out our president for some shady activity around their meme coin, Trump coin, and it could also include World Liberty Financial. Now, that's not the most profound detail in all of this, at least to me. Democrats also point to a report centered around Trump's relationship, $2 billion relationship with Abu Dhabi that involves World Liberty Financial working with Binance. Now, knowing everything that I know about CZ and the BNB brand, this is a detail that we need to keep our eyes on. Now, this is also in reaction to the Senate stablecoin bill discussion that is going on right now. And as our Senate leader and fellow July baby, Alyssa Slotkin, put it, the gator that we're looking for might be a little bit closer to the boat than we realize. So, welcome. My name is Wade. You're listening to another edition of the DHN Crypto Podcast. I've been in the space since 2019 and I've researched over 1,000 digital assets. Number one reason I sit here is to share all that knowledge with you. All I'm asking in return, if you find value, hit that subscribe button. Now let's hop over to the terminal so we can really unpack this story. Because like I said, this ties into the ongoing stablecoin bill discussion, something that is very important to us. We follow a lot of the public networks that these stablecoins run on. So, Democratic senators propose ban on crypto promotion by Trump senior government officials amid stablecoin bills spat. Have not heard that word in so long. But let's jump into the meat of this, guys. So, the End Crypto Corruption Act of 2025 would prohibit the president, vice president, members of Congress, individuals appointed to Senate-confirmed positions, and certain other special government employees in the executive offices, plus their spouses, dependent children, from issuing, sponsoring, or endorsing any cryptocurrencies or other digital assets. This raises a very interesting discussion that I have seen starting to bubble up to the surface, even on X. Is Trump's, endorsement of the industry actually doing us more harm than good? I know the prices have been pretty decent since he's been in office, but from a legal standpoint here, think about it. Especially after the administration we just came out of and every battle that we had with the SEC. Okay? What did we see? Anybody that stepped up that even appeared to manipulate the market got smacked down. So, this is very interesting to see this manifest. Now, they go on to clarify that this bill seeks to prevent President Trump and his wife Melania from profiting from their meme coins, which were issued shortly before the inauguration. And as we know, Trump likes to host these dinners now, and he hosted another one where he made an announcement in relation to Trump coin holders. I think it was around whoever had the most at a certain time would get access to a certain part of the event, VIP status, right? That obviously caused the coin to raise in price suddenly, and then after the event began to taper off, if I'm not mistaken, if this event hasn't passed yet. But this is very interesting, a very interesting argument that the Democrats are putting forth. But this might be the most interesting. So as it says here, Senate Democrats have raised concerns about a planned $2 billion deal between an Abu Dhabi investment firm and Binance with the firm's WLD1 stablecoin. So this is World Liberty Financial stablecoin potentially getting involved with Binance. Now, I'll add this quote here from one of the several of the Democratic senators. I guess they agreed on this statement. Our concerns about Binance's compliance obligations are even more pressing given recent reports that the company is using the Trump family stablecoin to partner with foreign investment companies. This is big business, folks. Okay? Because like I said, Binance went through a couple things. What was this? 2022 throughout 2023. They were sued by the SEC. And this gave me an opportunity, right? Let's exit the terminal a little bit. Got a one-to-one with you really fast before we get out of here. The SEC went after Binance, and that gave me the opportunity to look into court documents for the very first time, right? And I was so obsessed with the case because I watched from my time entering the space until Metaverse Mania in 2021, this market would not be here without Binance. Straight like that. That is also why I get so excited whenever we talk about Stellar opening up another on and off ramp and the possibility that Binance Pay could be involved. Another reason, most of the liquidity on the XRP ledger is coming through Binance. Okay. If it weren't for Binance, the trading of the XRP token would be pretty much null and void. And you can look this up, right? So I say all of that to show you that Binance at a certain point had a stranglehold on the crypto market right around the time the SEC decided to crack down on them. This is when I discovered the company BAM Asset Management, which is the company behind Binance US, which is still live and active here in the United States. Now, dig this. In April of 2024, the fourth month of 2024, after months of CZ on X posting the number 4, they sentenced him to 4 months in prison and a $4 billion fine, only for him to come out just in time for his seemingly new best friend to become president of the United States. Now, listen, we do a lot of speculating in the crypto space, a lot of conspiracy, but this is one that interests me a lot because something else that Binance was getting ready to take nuclear was that Binance USD stablecoin that the New York Department of Financial Services essentially went to them and said, you got to cut this out because now you got too much control of the market. This was early 2023, January, February, if I'm not mistaken. Funny thing about that is, since then, which stablecoin has been the talk of the town? The American-based USDC. Find that to be very interesting. But I think the key term here in this entire relationship is the foreign investment. Foreign investment. Trump, in that first week, how many billions of deals in foreign investment did he secure? I tell you what, Binance has operations, buildings, ladies and gentlemen, physical brick and mortar locations in several places around this world. So if we're talking reach, yeah, Binance is definitely one of them that's got all the reach. And to that point, if CZ, well, let me clarify, because CZ is technically no longer with the company. He did step down, right? Binance did get new leadership who plans on taking Binance to the next level. You will find it interesting that Binance isn't listed on Coinbase or Uphold because they know what's up, right? And I love Uphold, but I wish they would just let me get a little bit of BNB. But again, they know that's their number one competitor. I'm saying all of that because, guys, this is an interesting situation. Mainly because this stablecoin bill, this Genius Act, we need this to pass. We do. Because the moment we get clearance for these stablecoins, this market is going to enter a completely new stratosphere. And the public networks that have supported the rails that these stablecoins run on for years will be the new leaders in this market. The fact that Binance is wrapped up in this just happens to be so interesting. On top of that, guys, I did a report. I did some research on Binance, the history, the origins, right, as a result of reading those documents. Yeah, Binance is so wrapped up with many governments around the world that if the United States fell under their umbrella, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised, ladies and gentlemen. Just look up what Binance is doing with Kazakhstan. Their stablecoin, their national stablecoin, will be running on the BNB chain. Running on the BNB chain. All right. Now, I'm not trying to shield BNB here. What I'm trying to shield is the narrative that is unfolding. So, With that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to end it right here. Of course, you know, the links in the description as well as the pinned comment will give you access to our entire DHN content library. This includes Blockmaster as well as the DHN starter kit, particularly suited for new investors. And it pairs well with the new financial system master sheet. Now, I do want to let you know I'm working on some new docs, some new information, educational materials for this summer, particularly a U.S. blockchain blueprint. It's time we start tracking these companies as they enter our market, and I'm gonna help you do that. So with that, y'all know what time it is. If that money is digital, so is the hustle.